Savage Family, Ancestors on HipHop Drop. You guys doing okay? Glad we got some listeners out there. It's just after 6 o'clock. Let's go to the phone lines. Let our guest introduce himself. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
What's up? This is Ant from Savage Family. That's really about it.
I like that. You just keep it simple. You're not on Native America Calling where you gotta watch who you might offend or watch what you say. I mean, I did say you can't say a few certain words, but otherwise, be yourself, man. That's what we want.
Well, you see what happened to Ralphie's name, man. That's what happens when you mess with the family. You feel me? Just, certain things happen. Hey, I just say.
Because you know what it was about that was so frustrating? It was like they were trying to help him, or it was like they were trying to keep saying sorry to him. And it's like, why do you keep saying sorry to him and keep like cutting people off who would go at him? Like, wasn't the point of the show for people to say how they really felt?
Yeah. I mean, that's typical. I think that a lot of people don't want to make sure that we stay viable to outside society. So we got to make sure that people don't see us as I don't know whether it's complaining or too aggressive or too violent. So we always got to make sure that we're able to sell ourselves to outside society. I understand it to an extent, but me, I mean, you've known me for a minute, so that's not really my way of going about things.
For all those who are listening and wondering about our guest, this is Ant from Savage Family. You just heard him on the song. That's my favorite Savage Family song. I've told you that a few times, but I'm sorry. I have to play that one every time before we go live.
It's all good. A lot of people feel that and kind of associate with it when they hear it. So I know it's one of those ones that kind of came together on something solid, and it kind of put, I guess, an introduction to what we are and what we were, those kind of things. So I think it's important that song gets played a little bit here and there, especially when it's introducing us, because some people kind of forgot that's where everything started. Well, not really. It didn't really start there, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of like the introduction to a larger audience, I guess, came from that song.
You know what it does for me is it puts a picture in my head and it makes me think. And there's this thing with it, like people look at rap almost like cliche, because people will say, "Oh, you're still rapping, bro," or "Thought you guys were gonna make it big. You're a rapper." But it's songs like that remind me what the point is. It's like spoken word and expressing yourself, and it's not being an idiot. It's not sagging your pants and acting loud and talking about degrading women and drugs and all that. And I've been around music and stuff like that where I participated. But what I'm saying is like, rap can make you think. Rap can uplift you. Rap artists aren't all bad people. I get tired of that cliche when people come up, "Oh, still rapping, huh?"
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, probably including yourself too, I think that the thing is that I think it connects us to a younger audience, to the youth a lot. And I remember that when when I first started being around you two, I know a lot of youngsters that really associated with Red Hogs, because like the way that y'all use like a lot of stuff from comedy, but like also took like very like serious stances on serious things and talked about things in a way that your average, like that people like, in suits and ties, and no disrespect to that, but I'm saying like people that really haven't been in it don't get a chance to talk about. So I recognize that with a lot of cats that are artists that are involved, with Native music, even how, for some reason we always have a tendency to kind of disregard each other or kind of like push each other off, I guess, because everyone's trying to vie for the top spot or whatever they're trying to do. I don't know, but point being is that anybody I know that I've worked with through music has always been trying to associate themselves and work with the youngsters to try and, change that situation. And for me, that was the easiest way to go about it, was through hip hop and rap, And so, of course, I'm still rapping because, our youngsters are still faced with problems right now.
All right, we could go back 10 years to around when Savage Family, and then it became HGS, Savage Family got big. But I want to go back to when Ant first started rapping, or whether it was spoken word or what it might have been. I don't think you've even ever told me this story in the conversations we've had in our lives, but share with all of us how it all started for you.
I mean, yeah. For me, honestly, it was. I think for me, it was an escape, a way to be able to. I used to write like I guess poems is the best way to put it. Just things that, they weren't official. They didn't follow no kind of rules or no kind of principles that are guided by like poetry or nothing. It was just things that that I would write that I thought You know, because I felt I felt like I didn't like listening to people that just talked normal. You know what I mean? Like they just sat there and talked like a teacher or whatever. So I like to, I kind of like the feeling that those things gave me, and so I just started, I started writing poetry, and we do little battle rap stuff here and there, and rap around with the homies and stuff, just kind of like freestyle and stuff. Just basic stuff. But in terms of like putting music together, probably be about like 2001, like the first official song. I used to like freestyle tough, like everybody from my cousins and everybody was always trying to. As a matter of fact, my cousin like bought me some studio time I never used, like in '98 or something, or '97, and I just never used it as some like studio. That was back when you had to like buy studio time and go to like crazy studios that you didn't know who everyone. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but like, yeah, I mean, really, that's how it started was then. But then meeting up with a couple homies, PD Sweetgrass and his brother Mash was like really where it was like, oh, we could kind of record some stuff and kind of put a message behind what we was trying to say, you know what I mean? And so, it was something like, 2001 is when, I guess, and that's the first Savage Fam stuff too, right? You know what I mean? That's like first Savage Fam. People don't really know about that Savage Fam shit. You know what I mean? That Savage Fam stuff is like, to me, it's some of the tighter stuff because it was ahead of its time and then, you know what I mean? And so, we were just doing our thing. I mean, I can't even remember like FLG, Savage Family, some kind of mixtape we did, and we did Theories of Revolution back then. The first Theories of Revolution was back then too. So really, it was just like, I mean, and it was that was it, man. It was an escape, honestly. You know what I mean? Outside of getting faded and doing different things, that was another way to escape. And kind of just like hop into something, and also be to be around the homies and everyone being like, you're that's dope, that's what's up. You know what I mean? And being able to take the message in. So for me, that was kind of made me feel like what's up. But that's 2001 was probably my first like real recorded song. Hey,
that was the one where you just went into a rap on the first track on that CD and you just rapped and rapped and rapped, wasn't it?
yeah. Like for hella bars, like didn't even know what bars were.
Hey, I like that. I did an album a few years back, and that's how I wanted to start it, was just straight rapping. And then I remember going to the studio at that dude's house in Seattle, and you said you can't punch in. I remember you said that was a rule at the studio. And so when I did my rap, I just rapped. I don't know how many bars it was because I didn't count, but I said I'm not going to punch in. I'm just going to go straight because you said that's a rule.
That was Native's rule.
Oh, okay, that was his rule. I thought you said we couldn't do it.
Nah, because I was just thought that was his rule. That's been his rule.
Why is that his rule?
I have no idea. Like, for real. To be real with you, man, the last time I recorded some tracks with him in like 2011, later than that, about 2015. It was the same thing. I was in there, and he was like, you need to work on your breath control. You need to work, what I mean? He was just, I think he was trying to be, I don't know, because he has, he has like training behind him. He went to school and stuff, so I just figured he knew what he was talking about, right? So that's, so I don't know.
Hey, whatever happened to that guy?
He's still around. He's still, he don't do music or nothing, unfortunately, but I mean, some cat, he got a kid, he got a wife and stuff, and, that's the unfortunate nature of the situation is that, he had to go, do those things, take care of those things, and being like the producer and the engineer and stuff, that takes a lot more time and a lot more, I guess, money, to be able to stay in those things and stuff. You can't, and so you can't kind of like juggle those things. I mean, you probably can. I can't say that for sure, but I know for him it was difficult.
You have to really want it. If you want to be in your 30s and still doing music, there has to be a reason why you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. He was working on building a little a label, had some pretty solid cats like J Bars and Motor Mouth Jones and a couple like cats like P Slick and Q Paris, cats that were local in like the Tacoma area that were on the team, and then it just kind of one of those things. It didn't move fast enough for everybody, and not everybody had the means to be able to support themselves. So kind of everyone went different ways and had to do what they had to do. But it was pretty solid. Like even the tracks that were coming out that never got put out officially. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because he was dope. I mean, that's the thing. We lose a lot of cats to just life. You feel me? You know what I'm saying, in terms of music. And for natives, we're not viable to everybody. We don't sell 1 million records because there's not a, only our own people really, for the most part, want to hear what we have to say. Like, nobody else really cares about our situation, no matter what it is. And so you might have the dopest hip hop head, he's a native cat, but it just ain't viable, so it don't sell, it don't make money for nobody, you know what I mean? And so it's very difficult to do that, especially after you got kids and stuff, you know what I mean? You're trying to take care of your children, do all that. After that, it becomes kind of like, let me see when I can sneak in and record this track or something. I think it's easier for the artist who's like just spitting, you know what I mean? I think for other cats who are doing the production process, they ain't got cats coming into the studio and paying rent, like what they gonna do, especially when you got kids, right?
No, but and then this is what happens too when you're a native artist and you do music that's about growing up around natives and native things, is when you do have somebody who's a non-native who's a fan of yours, it makes you feel kind of weird, huh?
Yes, man. I'm telling you, you don't even, like, recently too, man, like, there's been probably, I'd say about 6-7 shows that I just like, man, I can't do it. I felt like a gorilla in a cage, like at the zoo. You feel me? And like I really was just like, I couldn't do it. And I'm older now, youngster. It was tough, but you get through it because you're like, okay, well, we might be able to do a little something for this. But man, recently it's been really tough. You know what I'm saying? Especially regarding some of the things that we've been involved with. You know what I'm saying? Not just musically, but just in general. You know what I mean? And so going to these spots, you know what I mean? And it's been really tough to sit there and see, cats. It's, you know what I mean? It's yeah.
No, because I've been places where they want you to wear a choker and have some sort of feathers on. But I'm from a community where I'm around my people every single day, and they know my family and they know me every single day. So we don't do that all the time, Of course we do it for powwows and stuff like that. But when I had gone on the road and I saw, they want you to show it. They want you to, talk about this experience you had. Like, I couldn't really relate to what they wanted or give them what they wanted every time. Did you experience that where people wanted you to be this like figure that was almost like giving them all these cliches and stuff? And then what happened after that?
Man, yeah, I mean, the first thing I had to do is explain, there's a good and a bad with like being from where we're from on the coast. Where I'm from on the coast is like we never have said that cliche, right? So we never had, like, that's not the way we get down. We don't dress like that, right? But people expect, like, everyone has a war bonnet and a choker. Hey, my son's running the street right now. Yeah, I mean, but they gotta get checked. You have to. That's the thing, is that the expectation. Everyone loves the pretty dress up native. That's why you see a lot of cats go to powwows and stuff and do those little things, because everyone loves that. They don't know what they created. You feel me? They don't know the monsters. And I'm not saying monsters, but they don't know the situation. They don't go to the res where you see, junkie heroin heads just like walking up and down the street, where you see meth addicts walking up and down the street just like, what I'm saying? Like straight up, they don't know that, and they don't want to know that. They don't want to understand, and that's the reason we're not viable, because people don't understand that. They don't feel that. They're used to the cats who are willing to put those jingles on and dance for them, you know what I mean, and do that, you know what I mean. And it's unfortunate, because the reality of our situation isn't that. Our kids don't get an opportunity to do that because they're dealing with real life struggles every day. You know what I mean? And our people don't get a chance to do that every day, even though we might even want to. And there's nothing wrong, but these people just want to see the pretty stuff. You know what I mean? And that's reality. That's the reason. You know what I mean? That's the reason that. Yeah, man. It gets tiring. You might have to, check somebody for saying that. You might have to, and in fact, you have to, because the next cat who gets up, I want to hear some native youngsters spit about the reality that they're faced with. I want people to know about that. You know what I'm saying? Other people don't want to know about that. There's a lot of native cats who be out there that go hard. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes they gotta hide the fact they're native. They want to push a little bit further. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And I never noticed that when I was because I was just doing my thing. We were just doing our thing. You know what I mean? On some on what we was doing. You know what I mean? But we were trying to put in everybody's space on purpose. Not our own people, but everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget what you want us to be, you know what I mean? And we about to be who we are because you created this. This is what you created. You created this mayhem for us. You know what I'm saying? Well, we gotta crease our dickies in the morning and wear t-shirts and stuff and sit, come back, do all these things that we ain't supposed to be doing, do whatever it is that makes us feel horrible about ourselves, and then go home at night and have to sleep with it. Wake up in the morning and do the same thing again. We don't get an opportunity to feel that beauty that they want us to look like. We don't get that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Because we trying too hard to survive, and that's a cold part. But everyone wants that, and then some people give it to them. And then back in the day, I used to feel like them cats were sellers, but now I don't know if I can knock them. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel horrible all the time. You know what I'm saying? And you get some cats patting you on the back and you feel good. It's hard not to want to feel good. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, because I wondered that myself, because I would wonder, how come this person gets this acclaim and this attention, and it'd be a song like that would have to do with racism and stuff like that. And I would think, well, we would touch on that, but we wouldn't just go strictly into that. You know what I mean? Like the whole mascot thing. Like, this is what I think about the mascot thing. How come when it's our people, the natives and the Indians, who say, this offends us, change this, nothing happens? But if it were any other race or any other ethnicity of people who said this offends them, they would change it. Now, me personally, the name doesn't bother me. I don't get too upset. But I was upset on behalf of the native people who did speak up, and then nobody cared. Nobody changed anything. Nobody said, oh, okay, we need to change this for you. And so issues like that, like Donald Trump and mascots and stuff, I usually stay quiet, but after it's all talked about, I say, well, I gotta have the natives back. But see, you have different opinions on things where you're not afraid to voice your opinion. You've never been afraid to voice your opinion. Have you always been that way? And then how do you decide how you feel about things that go on in pop culture and in America?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would say, I've always been that way. I was taught, my uncle, and this is my uncle was one of my, I guess one of my teachers, so to speak. You know what I mean? And he had got shot in the head. He was robbing banks for the American Indian movement back in the day, and so he had got shot in the head, and he was so he was paralyzed from the waist down, and so he used to talk to me about a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And so I recently I've been putting out music that talks about him, and gives more of a background on what he taught me. You know what I mean? And he taught me to fight. You know what I'm saying? Behind who we were. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that that was just what we were taught to do. And we'd be in school. Some people would be told we look like girls who got long hair, and some people would, go cut their hair or feel bad about it. We would fight behind it. You know what I'm saying? And we had people that supported us. Not everyone had people that supported them, so I can't blame the kid. You know what I mean? Like when you're looking at somebody who goes through a similar situation because they weren't taught to stand up, it's not their fault. You feel me? It's because we for a long time we were taught to just blend in and kind of hide out and hide in the shadows. And so for me though, I was taught that, and so it never really shook me to feel like I need to be able to say something on behalf of my people. And then also through all of that, it's like America don't concern me. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck here. I teach my children the same. So the mascot issue, exactly for the same reason that you were upset about it, is because I feel bad that my people have to feel bad about that, right? But it don't bother me because that's how America sees us, right? America don't care about us. I'm not trying to be a part of America. I don't want my family to be a part of America. Right now, we have to be a part of that. That's the reality, right? And so for me, those things we never wanted. We don't want civil rights. We want independence. You know what I'm saying? We don't want system reform. We want this whole thing to collapse so we can, find our power again, because we're stuck hiding behind these things we can't find our power because we've been forced to believe certain things about ourselves that are untrue. Thousands and thousands of years of living strong and healthy, and then all of a sudden all this new stuff starts coming to us, being pushed upon us, and and now now look at us, you know what I'm saying? Go outside, you know what I'm saying? I got cousins and uncles who are just like all they look for. They don't even care about eating. All they look for is dope. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about nothing. And that's because that's the way we were taught, right? That's because everyone says you ain't nothing if you ain't a part, you don't fit in this system. To me, we don't fit. We don't fit. That's cool. That's good. So maybe we need to try to stop that. You know what I mean? Stop trying to be let's fit into what they do. And so for me, I don't knock anybody for what they've done or what they become, because I understand the reason that occurred. I know why that is. I know why we feel like we have to be as good as them at everything they do. But the thing is we need to be as good as ourselves at what we always used to do, because that was what kept us strong for generations, right? And so I was just taught that, and it made sense to me, right? I'm not saying it has to make sense to everybody else, but when I sat down, that made sense to me. You know what I mean? That was something that was like, okay. And I forgot about it for a long time because I got involved in a lot of stuff. And then when I had a chance to sit down and chill, I had 9 warrants and I went to Haskell. And I sat down at Haskell Animation University. And for the first, few months, I was acting the same way I acted anywhere else. Then I had a chance to sit there and rest. And I rested for a minute, and I started thinking about all this stuff. And I was like sitting out there, you know what I'm saying? That was the first time I was around that many natives. It was crazy. And so I just started recognizing, what our situation was. And I started paying attention and replaying all the stories that I had heard from my uncles and stuff, when they was involved in the resistance, when they was doing what they were doing. And so it just made sense. But I had a different training ground, you know what I'm saying? I had a different training ground. I was out there, you know what I'm saying? People were out there. We was out there doing different things. And so because of that, I was also taught to stand up for myself. You know what I mean? But then I started realizing there's bigger things that I could fight for than the things that I was fighting for, you know what I mean, out there. And I thought that, were important to me. And I realized there was other things. And the most significant to me became the youngsters. And so for me, I believe that that's what it is when it deals with America, man. I don't really care, you know what I'm saying? They call me whatever they want to call me, you know what I'm saying? They can say that, but that's good because technically they're trying to destroy who we are. They've been trying to destroy who we are. So because of that, why should I care what they see me as? You know what I'm saying? The only reason I care is because it makes, youngsters, feel bad about themselves for being Native, right? But if we teach them their power and we teach them their strength, they ain't got to worry about it either, because it don't really make a difference. So to me, that's how I, with politics, Donald Trump, like, what's the difference of Donald Trump and Obama to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference of Donald Trump and Bill Clinton? What's the difference of Donald Trump and John F. Kennedy? Like, to me, they're all part of a system that was put in place to destroy us and still destroys our people to this day, still tries to take away our land, still does everything, and it makes our people feel like, they're nothing. So for me, it doesn't make a difference who it is. So to me, that's the way I feel about it. I'm not suggesting everyone should feel the same way I feel about it. However, that's through me sitting back and examining our situation. I had an opportunity to. Not everyone gets an opportunity to. I know intelligent cats out here running around, doped out, super intelligent, know what's going on. They just don't get no chance to ever be able to sit back and get themselves away from the confusion and the mayhem. You know what I mean? They're stuck, and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Hey, I'm glad we did this interview, because these are things where when I would hear you on Native America Calling, I would keep saying, he's not getting enough time to say how he really feels. They're painting this picture to where they were almost making you seem like you were kind of a bad guy. And I don't want them to get offended when I say that. I like Native America Calling for what it is, but you would only get so much time to say what you felt, and it was like they wanted you to say the answer that would lead them to their next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like when people can say what they really feel, say what they really think. And like you said, not all of us are going to agree with you, because natives from reservations and natives from cities and natives from all over have different beliefs, have different ways of living, have different goals. And so that's what I appreciated about Savage Family, is that it made me think. And I didn't have to agree with everything that you said or whoever was on the track said, but it always made me think. And that's what I appreciated throughout the years you guys have been putting your music out.
And that was the purpose. That was the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, everything we ever did was calculated. Even more so now. I got my son. He's 13. He's about to kill it. He just turned 14. So, but he's about to, and he's on the same. He's on the same mission, but in his own way. You know what I mean? He's on the same mission to try and change things, but he has his own vision and his own. But he likes music, right? So that's something that he tries to push the message through as well. So. It's we try, we do, we keep pushing and try to do a lot of things to make people think about, the situation that we're faced with. And like I said, the hard thing is that for our people, it's always, you constantly get knocked down, you get stomped out, right? And you try to get back up and you try and heal, but our people never get a chance to heal, right? Every time you get knocked down, you get back up, you get knocked down again. So you're never really in a situation where you're able to sit there and think about what's going on around you, because you're always getting knocked down. You're never, you never get to dust yourself off. And so that's like, that's where it's at, man. So for me, that's that's the vision, is to be able to see our people have an opportunity to be able to be who they're born to be instead of, who they're told to be. And we're always told to be something else. And, hopefully, I don't even know, who knows at the end of the day what our music will have done or have done. I just know, we catch stories and we catch, I'm sure you do too, for people who be like, man, I listened to that song when I was on some, like, about to kill myself. See, other people don't deal with those issues where you got hella people around you who just want to, who literally just want to fucking, who literally want to die. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like that. They don't experience that like us. You know what I'm saying? They don't see that, so they don't catch that where it's like, oh yeah, that's the reason I still rap, is because, you know what I'm saying, I got a phone call, I got a message from the youngster. You know what I'm saying? After our little Vice show, I had some young girls from out in Montana that were like, yo, can you please get out here? We need your help. We seen that. Like we need, youngsters who are like, we going through this, we going through that. And I don't want to put too much out, but I'm saying, the things that they go through, the things that we go through. You know what I mean? Our people know what we go through. And so when we hear youngsters who are like, yo, that saved my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, okay, like, let me keep pushing, because, every day I'm sure, cats be out there on some music tip that's like want to shut down and quit because you don't get the support, you don't get the kind of things that you envisioned you might have got, because, you think you're tight, you're decent, you're as good as anybody who might be on, MTV or BET or whatever it might be, but you're not getting the support. And it's like, well, I mean, I catch those phone calls. I'm sure a lot of cats catch those phone calls where it's behind, where it's those things that change youngsters' lives that really make us keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want youngsters to feel like, they have to be in the same situation like us, because we're really adamantly anti-establishment. You know what I'm saying? Anti the whole situation that the United States government represents. We're anti all that. But I don't want anyone to feel like they have to be that. I just want people to be able to recognize the beauty inside themselves because of who they are, because of where they're from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. After that, it's all good. But but for me, that's why we push. That's why I keep pushing, is because of that. Because I know that when them youngsters hit me up and they on some live stuff, I know that they got touched by something because they felt the same way. They felt similar. They know what's up. You know what I mean? And so that's what, you know what I mean? So anyone tell me, oh, you still rapping or whatever, that's the reason I can't quit, honestly. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason I can't. Even if I wanted to, you know what I mean? That's the reason I got a little makeshift studio in the front of my house, just in case I got to record something that I feel like, will touch the situation, you know what I mean? And that's it.
Hey, we were having this conversation last Thursday, and we were talking about, over here, we always express how we're proud of where we're from and how we talk about how bad it is where we're from. And I said, how can we do that? And I wasn't, like you say, I wasn't judging the youngsters who were here. I was just saying, how come we're so proud of where we're from, but then when we talk about and we brag about, it's the bad stuff that we bring up? How come natives are like that? And why do you think it's become that way? And it's not in all music, but around here, a lot of the natives who do music, it's grimy, it's real. But what do we got to do to change where our communities aren't these places that we sometimes brag about for how bad they are?
Man, I honestly, if I had an answer, I probably would be able to, I don't even know, but I mean, I guess the answer is just to, really keep pushing and be able to, like, I don't even know, man. It's the reason it's become, for me, the reason I think it's become the way it is because that's what we see as things that a society that's tried to destroy us for so long, they fear those things. So the best thing to be able to do against people who are always trying to smash you or do whatever is to create fear in them so they don't mess with you no more, right? You know what I'm saying? So you push that out there, you let them know, yeah, we don't care, whatever it is, this is how we get down, this is what happens, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? We don't even care about our own lives, let alone, blah, you know what I'm saying? You get to that point, then the people who have been trying to destroy you, harm you, hurt you, kill you, rape you, whatever it may be, like, they gonna stop for a minute. They're gonna have to think about it, you know what I mean? And what we've done, we haven't pushed line on our people long enough to remind them that we did that for generations. You know what I'm saying? We did that anyways as who we were. out and about all over, we pushed away this threat. But they told us, they acted like we did it, and they pushed it on our people that we never did that. We never pushed away this threat. So, like, you know, oftentimes we see ourselves as weak people, but the thing is that the fact of it is that most of our people were challenged and were able to be challenged after deceptive measures and biological warfare that was against our people, until our people were pushed down to a certain number that people felt like they could bully us. But there was a point when our people weren't so easily bullied. You know what I mean? And so we're not told those things. We're not taught those things. We're always told, like, our people are taught, like, literally to turn the other cheek. It's not okay to fight back. It's not okay to say, you can't even say something, let alone do something about someone. You know what I'm saying? So then what do you got to do? Then you destroy yourself. You destroy your own community. You make the community, and then, you know, you make it something that's a scary place to be, a difficult place to be, and then maybe those monsters that have been destroying your people for so long might not want to mess with you no more. They still will, but that's what you're taught. That's how you teach yourself. And so you sell that idea, you know what I mean? And so, man, I think it's the question. I mean, I don't know, how do you and then we hate each other for even trying to bring these things up, right? Like, oh, why you preaching? Why you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, people. But it's been embedded in us, bro, since the beginning. They push that line. People forget about all those things. Boarding schools, even the boarding schools that exist now, the lies that are told to our people about who we are. People forget about those things. So we're taught that, man. We're taught we're ugly people, so we live that ugly life, man. Like the things that our people possessed at one point in time that we don't even come close to possessing right now was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even tell our own, you know what I mean? Like, people don't even use words like love no more. People don't even use those things. We have to be the hardest of the hard. We have to go harder than everybody. And in a sense, we kill ourselves doing that, right? So it's the same reason that people say that we got so many people doped out everywhere. It's the same exact reason, you know what I'm saying?
I want to see a change. I don't know. I don't want to have I don't want to have success be based on the terms of anybody but the people in our own community, meaning that I'm from this Yakima nation. Why can't the Yakima people have more people who love themselves and love each other, and have less of all the negative and more of the positive? That's my goal.
We're looking for the answers in the wrong place, man. Honestly, I'll tell you that straight up. Like, I'll tell you that straight up as a fact. We're looking for our answers within a system that was aimed to destroy us. And our traditional values, the things that existed at one point in time, are exactly against that. They're at odds with those things. So the thing is that we aim to succeed, and we do sometimes. We do oftentimes. We succeed on their level, according to their measures, according to their ideals. And until we don't see that as success, until we see different things as success and really feel that and believe that, it doesn't really matter, because that success comes with nothing. We were still empty. We're missing a lot of who we were and who we are. And the thing is that scientifically now, catching up to our people who are on some spiritual stuff, science understands we have genetic memory. We understand who we're supposed to be 7 to 14 generations back. We know when we're born we're supposed to be something. We know that in our body, in our DNA, in our genetics. Our people would have called that something spiritual, right? And our people still should. But the thing is that we understand that. So then when we grow up and we're told 5 days a week, at least 5 days a week, we're going out to try and achieve according to their standards. And then maybe on the weekend we get a chance to, maybe just dress up, or maybe just sing some songs, maybe just do all those things that have power and possess power for us. You know what I'm saying? Then we see what our people value right now. And it's not our people's fault that they value those things. It's because we've been taught that. We've had that raped, murdered, and beaten into us. Reality. And so until we start looking for our power in our places and find our success according to our terms, like you said, then we're stuck. That's what it's going to be. We're going to be stuck, like, trying to succeed on their level, which we can never do.
Hey, I saw the little preview from Viceland where your son was shooting and then you were counting. How do I see the whole episode?
They got it on. They got it on like iTunes and different places. You can, like, any of those movie sites where you can watch stream movies for free if you want to get it for free. I gotta actually send you a link. They sent me a link the one before it was color graded, and then after that they never sent me nothing. So I had to see it through one of the homies who had got it on iTunes, because I didn't feel like I wanted to pay for it personally, because I felt like they should have supplied us with personal copies. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of turned a little bit sour. But at the same time, I can send you a copy of that.
How did they get a hold of you?
One of the homies was working on the what's it called, the what do you call it, whatever the selection thing with MTV Rebel Music, and they was bringing up Savage Fam, you know what I'm saying, and they were like, oh, Savage Fam can't be a part of that because it's a Viacom cable company, it's a government subsidized company, so they be burning flags or whatever. And so he ended up going over working for Vice, and he was like, why they didn't push line to put us on or whatever. So they ended up, Vice was like, well, we want to do something on y'all, and so we worked with them a little bit.
That's cool. All right, man, this is a good conversation. It ended up being like over 35 minutes. Anything you want to talk about before you get going? I'll let you get back to taking care of the family and everything.
No, I said, really, man, it's much love and respect to everything that everyone's doing out there, man. What you trying to do out there, what you've been doing, for a minute. I know we ain't never had a chance to, sit down and, I appreciate the times you hopped on the tracks with us and did all those things. I know you was there in the in the early, things. So a lot of the motivations behind what we do. So that's cool, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to sit up on here and express some of the concerns and questions. Hopefully everyone can build from it. We can build from it. You know what I mean? And much love to all my cats out there trying to resist this, no matter how they do it. You know what I mean? Like they've been killing our people for generations. They still trying to do it right now. And I know everybody out there, genuinely. You know what I'm saying? I know you trying to work to see some change. You know what I'm saying? It gets frustrating because we don't see the change. But I was talking with my uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a selfish part of us, that we always want to see the change that we help create. You know what I'm saying? That, but so that's what stops people from continuing, because they don't see those changes in front of them. But 5 generations from now, some of the things that we do right now will help change for the youngsters out there. You know what I mean? So don't stop pushing, man. Keep doing that, and keep moving forward and do what you got to do, because we may not see it, but eventually, like, that love and that passion and that drive that you push with, that you're trying to see change in your community with, man, it'll touch somebody, and they keep pushing it, and that becomes the amber that pushes that fire, and keeps that fire burning, and keeps that fire eventually burning strong enough, So, yeah, man, other than that, man, much love, man. Keep doing your thing.
All right, thanks, Ant. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man, stay up, bro. All right, no.
That's Ant from Savage Family. Great interview. Was that 40 minutes? Didn't even feel like it. I could have kept going too, but I thought maybe he was busy, and we can get him back on the show in the future. But thank you guys for checking out the interview. Maybe you caught it halfway. We'll put it online. This is HipHop Drop, Yakima Nation Radio.